Hello, and welcome back to Visiting Dugout. I am your host, Crystal O'Keefe. Today, I have great friend of the pod at this point, Walker Kelly, back on to discuss the Tigers. So please feel free to reintroduce yourself just in case no one has ever listened to the Tigers episode.
Yeah, I suppose if this is your first Tigers episode, you decided to care because you saw that they were pretty good last year. Um, Welcome. It's a pretty fun team for the most part. I'm Walker. I Crystal and I met on the internet, so on Twitter, I believe, the bad site.
The bad side,
Or
yes.
now we're both on the better site. Uh, but yeah, it's White Sox Tigers always hotly contested. Not necessarily last year as much, but I think that the White Sox will be more competitive this year. I do think that.
That's my only hope. My dog playing with a toy in the back agrees, apparently. So, what's new with the Tigers this season?
Oh, nothing because we have injuries yet again. Um, it's not going well in center field. I'll say that. Uh, would you happen to remember utility infielder with no bat, Ryan Kreidler?
I do remember Ryan, yes.
Yep, he's our everyday center fielder right now.
Yikes, but okay.
Yep. Parker Meadows is dealing with a nerve issue. He can't throw until May. Matt Vierling has a shoulder issue. He can't play until I think early May. And Wenzel Perez has back tightness and he's out until May as well. So, yeah, right now we have three guys on the roster who can play center, and somehow the best one is Kreidler because they don't want to play Green every day in center field because then he'll get himself hurt because he
Yeah.
always does. And the other one is Manuel Margot, who we signed like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I understand this. The White Sox very quickly had signed Travis Jankowski
Mm.
when Andrew Benintendi went down, and now Benintendi's back up and playing, but neither one are great. I don't know, in the outfield anyway, so it's been an interesting.
Yeah, they seem like kind of similar. It just Benintendi has more power and Jankowski has better average, but otherwise they're kind of the same guy.
Yeah, so really fun, big, huge improvements.
Huge times in Chicago. Our reserve outfielder got 10% better.
Oh, it's so sad. So, injuries aside, it doesn't, I mean, well, no, not injuries aside. With all of these injuries, it doesn't sound like you feel great about the season.
Uh, I think the start of the season will be a little tough. So far they've played 6 games. Both of us, I believe, have the day off today.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be 2-4 versus 2-4. We got swept by the Dodgers, which
That's
it is
everyone.
the Dodgers.
Yeah.
One of the games we kind of got screwed by the umpires, so it went to extras and we lost, but we could have had the game, the go-ahead run in the 9th if Manuel Margot was called safe correctly, but he was not. The first game we lost by 1, and then we got blown out game 3. Then we went to Seattle, won the first 2, lost yesterday 3-2. So the Tigers are somehow 2-2 in all games when Tarek Skubal does not pitch, and 0-2 in games where Tarek Skubal does pitch right now.
That's wild.
Yeah, so maybe it's not a good thing that you're missing Skubal. I don't know.
Oh, fun. So as far as the off season, I mean, was there anything good that came from it?
Oh, well, we had one pretty good signing, I think, Gleyber Torres. We got from the Yankees. He immediately got hurt. Forgot to mention that one. Yeah, the whole plan this offseason was to move Colt Keith to first base, move Spencer Torkelson to a platoon DH role, and play Gleyber Torres every day at second. Well, Gleyber hits a home run in his first game, and then in his second game he gets injured. So Now Keith's right back to second and Torque's right back to first. Now, the good thing is that despite the fact that we pretty much didn't sign anybody else, except for Margot, Torkelson's hitting again. I don't know what happened, but he changed his batting stance a little bit, and now all of a sudden so far this season he's hitting like 400. It's out of control.
Well, he's probably like, oh shit, they only have me to depend on.
Somebody's got to do it. Yeah, Justin Henry Malloy didn't make the opening day roster, and 2 days later he was up with the team because of the Torres injury, and then he was leading off the next day.
Also, imagine just being this kid and you're like, oh, I'm coming in for Gleyber Torres. That's how desperate these people are.
Yeah, you called up a guy who plays left field to replace your second baseman because, well, we need a right-handed bat.
So that's a bummer because I had the Tigers doing a lot better in the American League Central race.
Did you have us winning it?
I mean, no, I didn't. Mm-hmm. I still had the Guardians winning it, but I had the Tigers coming in second at least.
Okay, fair.
So, do you have any predictions now for this? I mean, this division, the part that sucks so much about this division is if someone gets hot at the right time, they can win it because that's how horrific it is in general. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, even as a Tigers fan, I'll tell you, it's not like the Tigers are not a great team. Even if they were fully healthy, they're not a great team. They could be a good team. The Guardians and the Royals both overperformed last season. Mm-hmm. I think the Guardians will not win 90 games again. They'll probably still be over 500, but I don't think they'll win 90. I don't see the Twins suddenly figuring it out. And the Royals improved a little bit in the offseason, but I think that's kind of even out with their overperformance of offside their peripherals this season. So before the season, I was picking the Tigers to win the division by a very, very narrow margin at 87 and 75. With the injuries, last season we won 85, so I think maybe I would amend it to 85 and 77 just to match last season because I don't think the team's worse, but it might not be better right now. Mm-hmm. And that would probably be second place, I would guess. Either the Royals or the Guardians will probably win 86.
Yeah, that's fair. I like to forget about the Royals just out of like pure hatred for the Royals. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because they have like Bobby Witt Jr. And now they have my man, Mark Canha, which like if they could stop picking up likable people, that would be cool.
True. Yeah, I forgot that Canha was there. Don't love that.
No, I personally hate that. That to me is like when Andrew McCutchen was on the Yankees and it like pierced my heart deeply.
That was me with Curtis Granderson on the Yankees.
Yeah, everybody's got a Yankees story for why we hate them. All right, well, that was depressing. Let's take a quick break and talk about the series. I'm gonna take some notes. Okay, welcome back. So this series, these pitching matchups are pretty cool. So let's go over this. We've got game one, Jonathan Cannon and Jack Flaherty. Jonathan Cannon famously still very green for the White Sox organization. Davis Martin, another very young one against Reese Olson. And then our veteran who had an outstanding outing for his first one up for the White Sox, Martin Perez, versus little baby Jackson Jobe.
I think Martin is almost double his age or something. Oh, no, Martin's only 33. Okay, he's not as old as I thought. But, yeah, Jackson's 22. So, yeah, I mean, I think, well, I guess we'll start from the start here. I mean, Flaherty pitched very well in his first start against the Dodgers. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs, and 5 strikeouts. So, and I believe through 4 innings, he had only given up 1 base runner. He kind of ran out of steam late in the outing, but he pitched well. Obviously, Cannon only went 5 innings and did give up 7 base runners in his first outing, but he didn't give up a run.
No.
So I would imagine this probably won't be the highest scoring game in the series. I would expect Flaherty to pitch well. I would expect Cannon to at least pitch decently well for maybe 5 innings or so.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking it's going to come down to the bullpen, probably the Tigers have the advantage there, I would guess.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Yeah, that was another offseason acquisition. I guess our other big offseason acquisition is we took another Yankee, Tommy Kahnle. So he's throwing changeups for the Tigers now.
Oh,
He
that's nice.
Pretty much exclusively changeups. He's a very weird pitcher, but if it works, it works.
Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan Cannon was in, so the group with the White Sox did do something great at the beginning of the season where, their first 5 starter, I mean, their starting rotation went and got 0 runs scored for, over 20 innings. I'm terrible because I've already forgotten all about this. But yeah, they didn't give up any runs. And then poor Shane Smith comes in, his first outing in the bigs, super excited. He did great. He kept it going. He went in through 5 innings and started to get a little shaky, reasonable, and the bullpen just completely dismantled everything that was good that was happening for the White Sox starting pitching and completely blew it. And the Twins took some serious advantage of that. And the Twins had previously been losing every single game. So pretty embarrassing for this stupid bullpen. But yeah, that's just kind of how it goes these days.
First off, I'm seeing that the guy who gave up all the runs out of the bullpen named Penn Murphy. Great name.
Yes.
Apparently not a very good pitcher.
No. He could be. See, the thing is, the White Sox also just had 6 pitchers go down for Tommy John surgery since the start of spring training. So we have no one. So we can't get rid of Penn Murphy, even though he's just one of the worst. And Fraser Ellard also really bad. And then he who shall not be named.
Right. Yeah,
horrific.
I know we've got the nasty man still around, unfortunately. Also, second note, is this normal for Nick Maton to be your leadoff hitter?
No, it's not. It's not normal. It's not.
Okay, because I remember that the Tigers cut him when they were bad.
Yeah, I know. No, it's not normal for that.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, normally it's Miguel Vargas, so that's not necessarily any better, but
not much.
Only by like this teeny tiny amount is it any better.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I would just lead off Benintendi or something. Just put at least a decent hitter up there.
So he's been DHing because of he did fracture his hand during spring training, which I was not expecting him to be back for the first or second week of the regular season, but he healed like Wolverine. But he's been DHing so that he's not further injuring this hand, I guess.
Okay.
Or else, I would probably put Benintendi in that spot.
Yeah, that's fair. I saw that and I was like, oh, well, first off, he did hit a home run, which good for him. But I couldn't believe that. Just could not believe that. I see. Oh, Mike Talkman, you have him too?
Yeah, we.
Okay. He's not that bad. I mean, I know he's hurt right now, but I mean, he's all right.
We've got Kyle Teal sitting down in the minors that he's has been great, so I really need him to
Get up here at some
come
point.
up.
Yeah. I think that's how we were feeling last year. And then at the end of the season, we unfortunately every Tigers fan was extremely validated at the end of last year when all of the kids got brought up and the team immediately went on a run.
Yeah.
Because now we're just hungry for all the kids to be on the team immediately, and it's just not how it works, and it isn't how it should work. So yeah, but now everybody's like, you see Kevin McGonagall's hitting really good in spring training. He's 20 years old. I mean, come on, it's not happening.
No.
But yeah, we want all of them right away. It's bad. Fan base is too aggro about the minor leaguers.
Yeah. Although the Charlotte Knights are looking great. Like I said, all of these young kids are down there mashing the ball. And I'm just like, yeah, bring them up. But then I remember it's like, oh no, they have to face like major league pitching
Right.
on like
Right.
competent teams. So maybe not.
Right. I mean, like if you send Miguel Vargas down to AAA or whatever, he's gonna mash. I mean, that's just how it goes. And then he's gonna come up here and he's gonna suck. Like it is what it is. Sometimes some guys are just quad A players.
It's the White Sox right now. It's like two people in quad A.
Yeah, well, last year it was one person in quad A, so it's getting better.
Sure. I guess. Where are we at? Davis Martin and Reese Olson.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with Reese Olson? Anything good?
He didn't pitch great against the Dodgers in his first start. Gave up 4 runs in 4 2/3 innings.
Oh.
6 base runners, 5 strikeouts. Just gave up too many big hits. Wasn't keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate. He'll do that sometimes. I think he should look better. His stuff was still moving. He just didn't have the precision that he normally has. If he pitches like that against the White Sox, I mean, even a bad lineup is going to take advantage if you're leaving the ball over the middle of the plate all day. But if he pitches to his capability and Martin also pitches to his capability, this is another one I wouldn't expect either team to get to like 5 runs probably.
I will say Davis Martin can be pretty consistent. He's one of the pitchers I actually do have high hopes for. Drew Thorpe went down with Tommy John. He was one of the 6. So I was very bummed because he was going to be my best pitcher on this White Sox team this season.
Wow. Okay.
But Davis Martin is good. I think he's capable. He's still very young. He's got a lot of learning to do, but I think he'll be steady at least for this series. And then we've got Martin Perez, who, like I said, was just phenomenal. Went 6 innings for his first outing, didn't give up anything. He took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. So we have him against Baby Jackson.
Yes. Jackson didn't pitch great against Seattle. He was okay. It was his first ever major league start. 4 innings, 3 hits, 4 walks. Not good. Gave up 2 home runs, struck out 3. He looked very good at times. I mean, obviously the fastball is 98 to 100. It's tough to catch up with. He's got a good cutter. Changeup was looking good. His curveball at times was outstanding, but it just wasn't consistent. There was too many at bats where he just got behind or he couldn't control a certain pitch and he wasn't able to adjust on the fly. I think he'll have a better chance to do that against Chicago, but I don't expect him to get through a whole outing clean right now. Unfortunately, I feel like if I had to make a prediction for the series, this would be the game I see the Tigers losing because Perez pitched quite well, obviously, 3 walks and nothing else. And he struck out 9.
Yep.
It's not a hard thrower either, so that's impressive. And junk ballers have always been the Tigers' nemesis forever. I mean, even back when Leland was the manager, it's always been the Tigers. Everybody has trouble hitting 100 miles an hour, but if it's 95, the Tigers are good to go. They're gonna tee off. If it's 88, no, they're just gonna be off balance, off timing the whole game. And I figure Perez is probably gonna go 6 clean again, and we have to like scrape 4 or 5 runs across against the bullpen to have a chance. And it's just not something I'd predict. So yeah, I think the Tigers are the favorites in the first 2 games, but I don't like the look of this matchup in Game 3.
So you've got a wild thing on your hands.
Yeah, a little bit. He'll settle down. I think he didn't walk so many when he was up in the majors pitching out of the bullpen last year. I just with how hard he throws and how much spin he has, I feel like he should have more strikeouts than he does. And that's been a consistent trend since the minors, where he's got incredible stuff, but even when he pitches well, he's not like racking up a dozen strikeouts. And you don't necessarily have to be, but when you're throwing 100 miles an hour, why aren't you?
Yeah.
Is kind of the thing. So I think our pitching staff is definitely the strength of our coaching staff. And I would guess that they'll figure that out eventually, but it's probably going to take some time.
Yeah, that's fair. So moving away from pitching, although this could still be a pitcher, I suppose, but who is the biggest threat to the White Sox right now on the Tigers?
I mean, right now, I think it's got to be our leader among our regulars. Our leader in OPS right now is Spencer Torkelson. He's hit 318 average, 444 on base, 545 slugging right now. He's walking, he's getting doubles, he's hit a home run. I mean, he's hit consistently. It looks like good Torkelson again. And if you make a mistake, he's going to bash it. That's just how it goes. I mean, with a lot of righties coming up, coming into the season, I would have expected to say Carpenter, to be honest, but he's been cold. He has not done much of anything yet. OPS is only 488 to start the season. So yeah, I think the obvious answer is, Riley Green, but I think Torkelson is, if anybody's going to touch up Perez in Game 3, I feel like it's him.
So he's going to be called Spencer Torkelson by me on Blue Sky for this whole series because I'm going to be mad. That's what you're trying to tell me right now.
Sounds good. And you're probably, and you're going to see me, if he hits a home run, you're definitely going to see me putting my memes up.
That's fair. You do your memes. I will call him Dorkelson.
I think that evens out.
It does. Because whenever he makes me mad, it's just immediately me. Although now I'm bummed with Profar because I can't call him Jerkstore Profar anymore since he was too much of an idiot. And
it's a moron, yeah.
Just in big trouble.
Ooh, I tested positive for the most obvious masking agent that there is.
Also, I'm so sorry. We're gonna pivot for 1 second because I love any downfall that the Braves can get, like any, except for Reynaldo Lopez being injured because that is my baby. I love him, so I'm a little sad about that. But I pray for the downfall of the Braves almost every single year. So personally, I think it's hilarious that he was such a big idiot and got busted.
Yeah, I mean, their record is pretty hilarious right now, too. So
I know.
0-7.
It is karma for the racism.
The only winless team in baseball.
I love it. I love it. Karma.
Did you know that all 5 AL Central teams are tied at 2-4?
Yes, I did.
I did not know that until just now.
I mean, I was looking right before we started. I was like, oh, that's fun.
And the White Sox are technically in first because they have the best run differential.
Hell yeah, we are. 2025. Who would have thought that happened after last? It's okay. They're still gonna lose like 100 games, so don't worry. It'll catch up. They're already showing who they really are after the Twin series. So
fair.
We just had a fluke. So the keys for the Tigers to take this series. I know you kind of have them winning too.
Mm-hmm.
How are they getting there?
I think it's going to be the pitching avoiding giving up the long ball. I think that's a big equalizer. The White Sox, I mean, Benintendi's already hit 2 home runs. Obviously, you have guys like Luis Robert around who can really, really pack a punch when they get a hold of the ball. I think it's going to be on the pitchers to just make sure you keep the ball in the yard. Not really, the White Sox aren't really a team that's going to beat you with hit after hit after hit after hit. But if you make too many mistakes, they can rack up runs that way. And then offensively, I really feel like it's gonna be. I mean, Torkelson's really the only consistent right-handed bat we've got right now, so it's going to be on the lefties in the lineup to take advantage of the righty on lefty matchups that they're going to get in the first 2 games. Guys like Riley Green, Zach McKinstry, Trey Sweeney, Kerry Carpenter, Colt Keith are going to get a lot of at bats. They're going to see probably the same pitchers quite a bit. I think by the end of the series, they should be familiar enough to be, getting good at bats and at least making guys work. And I think if you make them work, kind of the inverse of keeping the ball in the yard, you make a pitcher work, the more likely they are to make a mistake. So I think it's going to be just try to grind them down, play Tigers baseball. And even with the injuries, on both sides, I would say the Tigers have pretty clearly more talent on the field. And so I don't think it's super lopsided to the point where I would pick a sweep, but I think the offense will have enough to get a couple.
Yeah. So on that opposite end, and I know we've already talked about Tigers struggling with someone like Perez. Mm-hmm. What fears do you have heading into this?
I would say just the offense not being able to do anything outside of the main few guys. I don't have any, worry about Green. I know Carpenter will start hitting at some point, and I can't really distrust Torkelson right now with how he started the season. Outside of that, though, I mean, our best hitter has been Dylan Dingler, and I don't think that's going to have any sort of staying power whatsoever because he's never hit at any level of professional baseball. The other lefties, Sweeney's been okay. McKinstry's been okay. Keith's been kind of not great. Somebody's going to need to pick it up. And if all of those guys keep not hitting, then they're the team's at risk of losing 2 out of 3 in this series. Absolutely. Because you might only need to score 4 runs to beat the White Sox, but you still got to get there. They're not going to give it to you. These guys, your starting pitching is pretty solid. So they're going to need at least one of the other guys to step up. And I worry that maybe nobody does.
Side note, I love the last name Dingler for someone playing baseball. That's a really solid baseball name.
Dylan Dingler. Yeah, he's I made a new meme recently because he hit a home run, and in the Dodgers series actually he hit a home run off of Yamamoto, and it's a ding dong, the pitch is dead.
I think I did see that. Yes,
yeah, I think that might be my best one.
You've already maxed out your best work.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do better than that.
Beautiful. So moving away from the sad state of the American League Central, how are you feeling about this season overall? What are your hot takes? How are you feeling?
Ooh, hot takes. All right. I'm gonna say I don't know. I guess I don't know how hot of a take this is just because how competitive the division is, but they don't usually do it. So Rays, I mean, I think the Rays finished last in the AL East. Um, let's see. I will say the AL representative in the World Series is Texas again.
Okay. No, I am on board with that.
And I guess my biggest hot take of the year is that the Dodgers aren't going to win the World Series.
I hope that hot take is correct. I'm
Yeah,
so tired of the Dodgers.
I don't. I believe they are the best team. I don't think there's much doubt about that. They have the deepest roster. They have the most star players. But it's baseball. Something weird's going to happen. Right now, I mean, the Padres look fantastic.
Yeah.
The Phillies look very good. The Mets look good. I think one of those three teams sneaks past the Dodgers, gets into the World Series, probably wins it.
I mean, they were all close last year. The Mets, especially, were really close to it last
Very close. Yeah. I mean, and when you take a team that was that close, you put Juan Soto on it, of course,
year. Exactly.
they're going to be one of the favorites. I mean, if the Dodgers ceased to exist, I think most people would probably have been picking the Mets.
Yeah, and they should. The Mets are going to be a lot of fun, I think, to watch this season. As someone who has a bias towards the Mets anyway, I think they'll be fun to watch. Hopefully, going to see them in person.
Yeah, I would say the most fun team to watch in that division for sure.
Yeah, the addition of Juan Soto was honestly just the icing on the cake to my fandom. I was like, thank you for this gift. And then, Pete Alonso's extension. I was like, okay, well, thank you for making baseball fun when I am
Thanks.
normally stuck watching the White Sox.
Totally fair. Yeah. Gosh, and speaking of the Braves, how slow they've started. I mean, I I did this. One of my friends set up this thing where it was just a straight draft, 10 people. You draft three teams, and whoever ends up with the most wins among their three teams at the end of the year is the winner. Well, I got the fourth pick in the first round, and the teams that went ahead were the Dodgers, the Phillies, and the Yankees. So I picked the Braves, figuring, well, they win like 95 games every year. Well, that's not going very well. Um, next pick was the Blue Jays, and then after that was the Nationals because I was right at the end because I didn't have many choices. So somehow I'm relying on Toronto to carry me to glory, and as you might imagine, I don't have a whole lot of trust in that.
No, they're going to be bad.
They could be. They if everything goes right, they could make the playoffs. But if even half the stuff goes wrong, like a normal season, they're probably going to be like 79 and 83.
Yeah, they're heavily going to be reliant on getting into the wild card in general, and I just don't see them going very far, even if they do.
It would be incredibly funny if the season that everybody figures that the Blue Jays are going to suck after a bunch of years where everybody assumes they're going to be good and then they suck, if they just are good this year for no reason and get to the World Series or something. That would be very silly.
I think it would be hilarious given the current political climate if the Blue Jays won the World Series.
That honestly would be very fitting.
I would love it.
It would be very fitting for a team of Canadians that nobody thought was any good and that might not even like each other very much somehow wins the World Series.
I'm very pro Canada, so actually, let's try to manifest that in the next few weeks.
We're gonna have a Tigers Blue Jays World Series.
Oh man, everyone aside from like.
Oh wait, no, that doesn't work. Never mind. We're gonna
Focus.
have what's a lib place? We're gonna have a Pirates Blue Jays World Series? I don't think we're gonna have that.
No.
I don't think so. No.
Mm-mm. The Pirates literally, and this is with all of the love in the world to my favorite player, Andrew McCutchen, the Pirates only have Paul Skeens, and he's very young and has not had Tommy John surgery yet. So they need
Well,
to really not put all their eggs in one basket.
well, and he can only play once every 5 days.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Maybe they should start letting him hit. He hit in college. Maybe they should
He
start letting him
did.
hit again.
Oh, I would love that. No, no, actually, that's just fast tracking an injury for him. I disagree. I take back my previous
Yeah, no,
statement.
they shouldn't do it. To be clear, I was joking. They should not do it.
No, I know. I'm just imagining. It reminds me though of like when Dylan Cease got to hit on the
Mm,
White Sox like forever ago before they changed the whole rule. Um, and he actually did well. And Lucas Giolito also was able to hit very well. It's like those tall, lanky guys. So maybe.
not Justin Verlander though. If you ever seen him hit, it is not good.
Speaking of, how do you think he's going to be? I mean, he's 40.
Something, yeah,
Just
42, something like
just
that.
came off and surgery. How do you think he's going to be this season?
Not great. I would figure he'll when he's healthy, he'll probably be like a fine fourth starter, and I think he'll probably pitch like maybe half the season. So probably not going to be worth it.
No, that's fair.
I think it's been time for about a year and a half for him to retire, and I think he's hanging on for dear life.
So there are quite a few. I mean, at this point, and Chris Sale's not old, but he's so injury prone, he just won Cy Young, so he's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. But I'm seeing these pitchers that are my age or older still in, and I'm just like, how, bro? How? I would have died 5 years ago out there on the mound if that was me personally. But
Yeah, I mean, we've got Max Scherzer, 38, and he's
yeah,
still pitching, and then immediately getting injured. So maybe that's a sign, man. I think it's time to turn that intensity somewhere else.
it's pitchers and catchers, like, not to be ageist, but maybe once you hit 33, you should consider just dying in the field somewhere. Like go out
Not
to pasture, old Yeller you.
33 years old is when you ritually burn all of your catcher's equipment and become a first baseman.
So I, for another podcast I covered the senior league that was very, very brief in the early 90s. And it was, for players past their prime. But they did lower the catcher age because originally it was 35 and up. And they did have to lower the catcher age because they age so poorly and their knees are so bad by the time
Yeah,
they're 30 that they were like, you know what, if you're 33 you can be a catcher in our senior professional baseball league.
that's fantastic.
And I just think
Yeah,
about that as I like head towards 40. And I'm just like, I should be put out to pasture if I were playing a sport.
you just got to find one where you don't have to do that much. That's why I love disc golf, because I can just walk through the woods and throw stuff.
I would probably throw out my shoulder, so it's not gonna work for me.
All right, all right, all right.
It's
Fair
okay.
enough.
I just sit here and I type and I do little things. Try not to injure myself. Oh, all right. Well, that's what I have for you. Please remind people where to find you. Send them over to the good place, not the bad place.
Yeah, I don't post on the bad place hardly at all anymore. I am bddrix.bsky.social on Blue Sky. That's pretty much the only place I post anymore. And then if you want to listen to me talk about fantasy football, you can listen to the Football Absurdity podcast. It's also on Patreon for $3 a month.
There you go. Don't sell yourself short. Get that money.
That's right.
All
$3.
right. Well,
It's not expensive.
cheaper than a cup of coffee. Okay, well, thank you so much. This is always a blast when you're on. Best of luck in this series. Tell Jason Benetti I love him. And yeah, see ya.
See ya. Thank you for having me on as always.
Bye.